What's up, guys? Welcome to the Crypto Savvy channel. I'm Craig. We're going to be going over the charts. We're going to start out with the Dow, then the DXY. Then, of course, Bitcoin will go from the larger time frames to the smaller. And then we're going to look at what happens when bubbles pop and why everyone gets bullish on these, pumps that go up, and they're not guaranteed until there's a macro confirmation. In the macro view of the charts, then there's no confirmation that the bear market's over, right? So we're going to look at those areas and what would be confirmation to safely get back in. Possibly, remember, none of this is financial advice, but we're going to be going over it all, kind of giving you areas to look at and watch. So let's get into it. First off, looking at the Dow Jones, as you guys know, this was my area. If we break above this and break out, and right now we can move this down now, it's about 34,222. So if the Dow can open and close a daily above that, then chances are the Dow is going to continue to rally, which will make Bitcoin continue to rally. As you guys know, I've stated many times that I think the movement of Bitcoin, the price action of Bitcoin, is just a byproduct of the price action of traditional markets. Until that changes, that remains truth, right? So let's take a look at what's going on. As you guys know, we've been watching this here as possibly either a A, B, and a C, or a 1, 2, and then we have a 3-wave down. If we're going for a 3-wave down, our next major stop is going to be somewhere around the 31,000 point range. But if we do come down to the 1-to-1 extension, that's around 32,250. Get a bounce there. I would expect at least a bounce there, but once we drop below this, then it's pretty much, we can safely say we're probably going to the 31, and obviously that would be more downward movement for Bitcoin. Now, everybody wants to get too crazy about little movements, right? So as of right now, we're going down. So of course that went down quite a bit. We're probably going to have some type of rally today. I think the pre-markets are 250 up or something like that, but you're going to have that. If you look back here, you have a bunch. These are daily candles, right? So you always have pumps up before drops and vice versa. So we are in a downtrend. We did break this low here. We did not break this low yet. So, just like here, got a little bounce come up. So this is what I'm watching. Unless we get above this top trend line, you guys know I think traditional markets are in a big time bear market, and I think it will continue towards the end of the year. So let's take a look at the DXY. DXY, we did break out above our 200 EMA, which is also our 0.382 fib here, and that is just a fib from this low to this high, right? So we did break above that. I told you it'd be bullish. Bitcoin had a little dump right there. Now we're coming back down for a retest. If this holds that 104.67, now that doesn't mean we can't get a wick down below, but if this holds this 104.63 range or 104.67 range, as long as we hold that and get another bounce, Bitcoin will fall with it. But right now you can see the markets are rallying a little bit and DXY is correcting. I think we'll definitely get a bounce here and continue on up. As you guys know, my next target is 108.50 as long as the 104.67 holds support. Now, the monthly, this is what we've been talking about in the monthly. As long as the monthly closes below 23,327, that's the monthly close. We still have the monthly close tomorrow will be the monthly close. So if we're below this 23,327, then that will validate this hidden bearish divergence, which is a higher high in the RSI, lower high in the price action, which is a continuation of the trend. And if you look at the trend is down. Now, as you guys know, since December 2nd, 2021, I called this Amazon compared to Bitcoin bubble pop pattern, right? We'll take a look at how bubbles pop also and what to look for to confirm a reversal, which we have not done yet, right? If you look at this, it's not, it's not any bigger than this right here. It's actually smaller. I think this was like 14,000 up. This is not even, we didn't even get 10,000, I don't believe. So this is what I'm looking at still. Let me move the mic a little closer. Hopefully you guys hear me right. But if we close above this 23,327. That will invalidate this hidden bearish divergence, right? So then we could possibly look for a higher price up. And like I talked about before, I'll show you here in a minute, would be around 31.5, somewhere in that range. So it still doesn't mean that the market's over, but it gives us a good possibility that maybe the bear market's over at that point. Now, looking at the weekly, remember last week we were looking for the confirmation of this higher high in the price action, actually lower high in the price action, higher high in the RSI, was hidden bearish divergence. Now remember, we could come up, get a quick wick up here, and that would be probably that 31.5 range and then continue down. Although I don't think that's going to happen. We don't have confirmation yet. We'd have to break this 55 EMA. Right now it lies around 25.3. 25.8 is my range. If we get a weekly close, open and close above that 25.8, then I will start to consider that the bottom is in. But until then, nothing's changed here. And I do not believe that the bottom is in yet. I've stated the same thing for over a year. Nothing has invalidated what I've talked about for over a year yet. That's how you trade the market safely, right? Or get in and out safely, waiting for a macro confirmation, which we have not yet got. Now, if you guys are interested in trading, check out my sponsor, Prime XBT, by far my favorite exchange. They don't trade against you. You can trade altcoins, Forex, gold, silver, oil, S&P, NASDAQ, Dow Jones, everything, all from one exchange. Definitely check them out if you haven't already. They also have a copy trading section where you can copy trade people, and they have a contest section where you can join for free. And they give you, fake money to play with. If you win the contest, then you get real tradable funds where you can keep the profit. Definitely check it out. It's a great way to learn to use the exchange. Also, you can use my promo code SAVVY50. That will get you up to a $7,000 bonus. SAVVY25 will get you 25% off of your trading fees. I do have a link down below. And yeah, check it out. Also, I have my Twitter link and other links down below in the description. Go through there. You can find them. So let's take a look at this bullish case first, right? We broke out of this falling channel, came down. We did drop back below it. So I'm not real confident in this top trend line for the fallen channel, but we did get a bounce off of it a little bit sooner than I had it marked. I told you around 22.4 right in there. We did get to 22.5, right? So was that the bounce? Possibly, but you can see the 55 EMA creeping up here. So we can still keep this. This is the daily chart. So yeah, we can still keep this around 22.4 for the next few days. Obviously, this goes down as the days go on. But if we break below this, then we have this bottom white rising broadening wedge line, and that being about 22,000. If we break below that 22,000 range, I do believe it. We are going to be heading towards around the 18,000, somewhere in this range, right? We'll take a look at it in the 4-hour also. But in the bullish case, if this holds, here's my 25.8. Remember, we can get wicks above because we would need a weekly open and close above, right, for it to confirm upside. This measured move from the breakout here gets us to 31.5. And if we look at the falling wedge here and take a measured move of that from the top of the wedge, the widest point of the wedge, to the bottom, that also, from where it broke the wedge right here, that would also get us at 31.5. So it is a possibility, right? But that still isn't a reversal unless we get above that. Then I would consider, it being a reversal. But hey, if you got out back above 60,000 while everyone else was buying, you're still going to be much lower than them. And if the rally does take off and it goes to 100,000, 200,000 Bitcoin, like people are talking about, you got in at a good price instead of risking getting in and continuing to the downside, right? I do believe I've been talking about the false bottom in February or March. Obviously, February is almost over. We still have a month in March to get down to the false bottom range. Possibly could it go into April? It's possible. Obviously, nothing's exact, but you know what I'm talking about if you watch the channel. I think we get a false bottom and then a nice big rally, and then ultimate bottom September, October of this year. I still believe that unless it's invalidated, which it has not been yet. Now let's take a look at this 4-hour. We're looking at this rising broadening wedge in blue, right? I told you watch for a bounce at 23.1. We obviously got wicks below, came back above. Now where is this now? Currently it's sitting at 23.1. We can move it over a little bit. if you know, depending on how quick it gets down there. If you guys are drawing the lines on your charts, it's a lot easier. I do have a trading view link down below. You can use my link. They do have a free version down there. Anyways, so if we do manage to get a rally up to the top of this wedge, that's around 26.1, and I think there's 1, 2, 3 touches up there. If we hit it again, we might hover around here for a while and then break out, and that target breaking the 26.1 would be 130 in the bullish case. Bearish case, you guys know I drew this in a couple weeks ago, what it may look like, something like this, right? We take our measured moves. This all depends on where this bottom line breaks, right? We did have our measured move here of the wedge up top where we broke down, and that gets us to about 22,250 in the bearish case, right? But first we have to break this 23.2 now. Once we break the 23.2 and the 200 EMA on the 4 hour around 22.9, then I'm looking for a bounce somewhere between 21.9 and 22,250, right? Get a bounce in there, maybe come up, test these ranges, come back down for a break. But once this breaks, we do have our measured moves. If we break right around here, which would be in the next few days, that 21.9, we'd be looking for approximately 17.8 to 18,000, right? Like I said, it all depends on where it breaks the bottom trend line. But watch for 21.9 and 22,250. I know everyone's getting really bullish because we're having a little pump here, but guys, don't get caught up in the FOMO, right? Another thing I want to point out, we broke out of this falling channel in the RSI. So you can also take measured moves in that. Sometimes they do hit, sometimes they don't. Just like anything else in trading, right? So if we break up there, then we'd be looking for, we'll put a trend line across there, right around the 78 on the RSI, right? If it was to do this. But you'll notice here, depending on where this closes, we got an hour and 30 minutes to close. But if you look at this high and this high, right? Higher high in the RSI would be a lower high in the price action unless we break this 24.4 range. But that would confirm hidden bearish. See how much the RSI moved up, resetting, making more room for downside, right? So keep an eye on that because we could definitely have a major rejection up in the area actually where we're at now before coming down. So either way, nothing is bullish here yet for me, guys, in the macro especially. As you guys know, here's the .com compared to Bitcoin bubble. We'll go over a couple other bubble pops and show you what I'm talking about by a false bottom before the true bottom. It always happens in bubble pops. And people don't like the term bubble pop because they think bubble pop means it goes to zero like the tulip bubble, right? That's not necessarily true. This was a bubble pop here in Amazon, right? We got a false bottom right around March, April, right here. Same thing I think we'll get in Bitcoin. Here was our false bottom, came back to make the ultimate low in September, October. A lot of times these take the same amount of time to play out. The ups and downs aren't always exact, but they take the same amount of time to play out. This was a 65% rally here. This was actually, let me move this out of the way. This was much bigger than that. It doesn't look like it because of the size of the chart, but this was a 108% rally, right? 112% rally before coming down to make a new low. Now let's take a look at another bubble. This one is Nintendo, and it took 15 years to break its all-time high. Amazon took 20, right? So you had your first dip, just like here. Then you had your rally right here. Then you had your big dump right here. And then you had your bear market rally. I have it circled for you here. This was a 65% rally. This was a 65% rally. And markets usually always play out the same because of human emotion, right? There's always a bunch of scams that need to get washed out. The market cleans itself up, and then it takes a long time to recover. This actually took like 5 years to really recover from the bottom here. So if we were to have the same thing here, could be pretty rough, guys. But again, we're still at that 55 EMA right here. 25.8 is where I had it. It's actually lower than that. It's about 25.4, somewhere in that range. But I'm going to keep that 25.8 because I need a weekly close, open and close above that to consider the bottom being in. That's not calling the bottom. That's consider the bottom being in. Because as you can see, We wicked above. Well, we didn't wick above. We moved above the 55 EMA here. What we're looking at here is structure. Looking for our bear market rally, which we're getting right now before coming down. Does that mean that that was the false bottom? That is a possibility. Either way, we're still getting lower lows. So even if it was a false bottom, we get down to that 75, 8,500, expect a bounce there, maybe get in a position down here and, you know, scale out little by little or stay in just in case it was the bottom. But either way, I still see lower lows coming unless we invalidate the bear structure, which we have not yet. Here's another one. This was Sony. This one it's over 20 years and it still hasn't hit its all-time high, right? Same thing. You can see this bear market rally. Let me zoom in here, right here. Towards the bottom. Then you made a lower low. This one made another huge rally before making an even lower low, right? And usually these are towards the end of the year, the true lows, right? Right here was September. The other one was November. Amazon was September. So like I said, timing in these bubbles and everything usually plays out pretty damn close. It's a pattern that we're following almost perfectly, guys. So just remember, don't get too bullish until a macro confirmation. And like I've always said, if you got up here when we were talking about it on December 2nd, 2021, I will leave a video up top. It's also playing if you open my YouTube page. But I told you there will be bear market rallies where people get super bullish. You know, after the drop, they're really bearish down here, and then they get super bullish and they don't get out, and then they make a new lower low and they wish they would have got out. And same thing over and over, and it just keeps taking money from people. It's exit liquidity. Each one of these pumps is just exit liquidity, so the big players can get out at higher prices, right? Instead of selling all at once, and then it would just, you know, go so far down, they would have to wait a long time to sell for a profit. That's what I'm looking at. Like I said, same thing in Sony here. You always have a bear market rally in these bubble pops, guys. They don't just shoot straight back up. They take a long time to recover, as you can see in all of them, right? They do not just shoot back up. It's long recovery time. All right, let's take a look at, this is FTX compared to Binance. As you guys know, I think Binance is in some serious trouble in the coming months. I do think it is going to drop. I don't know what exactly is going to happen with them, whether they, you know, get caught up in the same stuff FTX did, whether they get shut down, or whether they just have a massive issues. I'm not saying they can't recover from it, but I am saying that they are going to have some serious drops. If you guys know what's going on with BUSD, which Binance claims they don't have part of, but yet it's named Binance, and yet they announced when it started that they partnered with Paxos to start doing it. So just keep an eye on this stuff and really read between the lines, guys. I think Binance is in serious trouble. All right, now this is gold. As you guys know, my gold targets, we did get a bounce here at the 200 EMA, but my first target for gold has been for well over a year, almost 2 years, about 15.59. If it's an ABC correction, right? If we blow below that, next stop is going to be around 14 if we blow below that. And guys, it's not going to be a straight candle all the way down. There is going to be lots of chop. This is macro we're looking at in these. Silver, same thing. I still have my target at 15.6. If that breaks, it could get really bad if the markets are in a longer bear market than even I would believe. Tesla, still going to wait on that 50 to 60 bucks to even consider getting in. We've had these targets forever. People laughed up here when I said we were going to these levels, 211, 183, 151, and 100, which we nailed it. Got our bounce at 100. Now, next low, I think, is going to be around 40, 50 bucks. All this stuff lines up. Just be careful out there, guys. And remember, wait for the macro to do a reversal to really get money in. It's better off to wait than to buy in now and miss much lower lows, right? Wait for macro confirmation, which we have not got. Okay. All right. Have a great day. Don't forget, smash those thumbs up. Leave your comments down below. That helps push the video out. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys. Have a great day and share the video. I'm out.